out there. I am your host. That's right. I am Jessica Koch. I am back again with Profound Professionals, the interview series that has been running for 8 years now. We bring you industry experts from all over the world that help improve your personal life and grow your business. And today, my amazing guest is Ellia Harris. She is a coach, a trainer, and a speaker. She gets leaders and teams to get out of that habitual thinking so that they can solve challenges with creative solutions they couldn't have seen before. So out of the box. So if you want your team to be innovative and creative and make some of those puzzles go away that you're struggling with in your business right now, then you know what? I think this is the show for you. Welcome, Ellia.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me, Jessica.
It is my pleasure. So tell us, how did you become the solve challenges with creative solutions expert?
It goes back a number of years, and I kind of stumbled upon this. It wasn't something that I intentionally set out to do many years ago as a career. I went through a career path that took me into management. And I ended up in a handful of senior roles in nonprofits. And along the way, I was learning about leadership myself because I was a leader. And
Mhm.
I had always had an interest in things like communication skills and how to solve problems. And I reached a point where I was thinking that I had enough skills that I could put something together that would help other people, a sort of combination of leadership development and how to facilitate creative problem solving. And so one day I discovered that I was let go from my job.
Mhm.
That was perfect timing. And that's when I became a consultant in organizational development. I started on that path about 20 odd years ago, and I took a few left turns here and there. But that's what got me into it. And I've just stuck with that because I think that creative problem solving is one of the biggest skills that we need right now. I mean, more than ever.
Mhm.
And I've been promoting this concept for 20 years.
I love that you said you took a few left turns here and there because that is testimony to you implementing your very own strategies and systems, saying, okay, this is what I'm doing with my life. And as a successful 20-year consultant, then you went, okay, it isn't quite working for either my lifestyle or for me or for my clients or the business I imagined I'd like my goal to be. So let me make these adjustments and get myself there. So I think that that's exciting to think about. And I know that there's plenty of people out there, whether they're entrepreneurs or small businesses, that probably are facing a similar thing. Now, do you typically work with companies that have a specific size team, or are you working more closely with just leadership? So it doesn't really matter what size company they are. What kinds of organizations are typically coming to you?
Yeah, I work with leaders. I've been doing less and less actual teamwork because it's really the leader that needs to learn these skills to be able to facilitate creative problem solving in their team so that
Mhm.
they can delegate more creative problem solving to their team members and not have to worry about doing it themselves, and build a stronger team in the process and put them in a position where they are more marketable as a leader, either within their own company for promotion or outside in the whole career marketplace. So the people that I typically work with are newer managers. They've been in a management role for 2 or 3 years. They're still finding their feet. They
Mhm.
haven't had much in the way of training for how to be a manager. And the
Mhm.
types of organizations that I work with, a lot of nonprofits, because
Mhm.
that's a big part of my background. That's where I had my leadership experience.
Mm-hmm.
Social enterprises, as well as sustainability organizations, people who are working to try and preserve this precious planet that we have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's awesome. So you're doing a lot more where the independent individual is investing in themselves to work with you and do private coaching, or is it group coaching, or is it an online course, or is it a hybrid of these things? Like what's the next step then when they approach you?
Yeah, there's a few options for them right now, and I'm constantly building new options. So there is an online course called Light Bulb Moments, and it's based on the framework that I developed called Light Bulb Thinking. And it's an audio style course, so leaders can listen to this on the go. It's like listening to a podcast, and it
Mm-hmm.
comes with a workbook, and it covers teams and leadership skills and creative problem solving, and how you influence others, and how to develop a culture for innovation. So that's that. I do also one-to-one coaching with people, and the way I price my coaching is so that an individual doesn't have to feel embarrassed about going to their manager to say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I need some help. They can afford to pay for this coaching themselves. They can
Mm-hmm.
still be referred by their company, and I always love those referrals, but I want to make sure I'm giving everybody the opportunity. And I'm also working on developing a small group coaching program that's like
Mm-hmm.
no more than 8 people. That's still
Mm-hmm.
under wraps because we're still developing it.
That's lovely. I love that. And so, if you were going to talk to these people, especially in the nonprofit space, because it's such a touchy space, I think even leaders in the nonprofit space struggle with how much revenue or how much can I grow in that kind of a career? What's ethical? You don't want to take away from the cause you're trying to feature, but you also, need the ability to care for your family and have resources and have a retirement and have goals personally, financially, and then being on probably a limited revenue stream to work with someone like you. What are some of the tips or suggestions you would give the audience, whether they're coming from the corporate world or the nonprofit space? They're looking at, okay, how do I get myself to the next level?
One thing that I always tell people that may sound obvious, but it's not something that we always think about. This is a really important tip, is that the problem isn't always the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking to solve something, and I mean, I'm talking from years of experience working in organizations that are innovative in terms of the services that they provide, yet their brainstorming was very vanilla and they kept coming up with the same solutions. And the reason for that was that they didn't stop to think, are we actually addressing the right problem? So
Oh,
that's my important tip.
yeah, are you asking the right question? So having valuable brainstorming sessions but still feeling stuck may mean you're asking the wrong questions or trying to unravel and solve the wrong puzzle piece in the puzzle, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fascinating. I'm going to ask a second question. What is one of your favorite team exercises that you teach in your leadership training to your managers that has really great impact on them achieving their final end goal, right? So, what is something that, because I always find those team workshops, team exercises, team activities so fascinating and interesting. So, what's one you use a lot?
Yeah. I'm a big believer in warm ups because it moves people out of the space. When they walk in the room, who knows what they're leaving behind them? They could have had the day from hell and
Mm,
they need to reset. So, having a warm up exercise is a great way to do that. It also promotes creative thinking.
mm,
It promotes connection. It gives everybody a voice. So one of the things that I say to managers is use this analogy technique has a way of opening your meetings, especially when you want to bring some fresh thinking in. And an analogy is where you compare something to something else.
Mm-hmm.
So life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I give them an example. And an easy way of doing it is to, and this is good for virtual meetings too. If you instruct everybody to pick something up off their desk, the weirder, the better. But I just happened to pick up this stapler, and everybody goes around and they create an analogy.
Oh, I have something. I have the remote.
Perfect.
I have the remote to my treadmill that's below my feet. I don't walk while I'm podcasting, but I walk most of the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's perfect. So if I say this stapler is like my team, they're always snapping at each other, then it gives a different context. It gives you a different perspective to look at things. So that's a really easy one that people can do.
Oh, and my remote is like the door, my front door, because it allows me to have a journey and go somewhere, even right behind my desk while I'm doing
Yes.
something. So, yay, I like that one. That was good. I had to do it, so I had to remember it. So I
Yeah,
could tell other
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
So, I love that. So one of the things that we started 8 years ago with our very first guest that I'm very proud of is I'm a big believer in connecting causes to everything I do. Some people call it cause marketing. I love that term. I'm not sure where I first heard it, or I'd give that person credit. But I've been using it for years and years. And how I decided to start this show was to make sure that we were taking a moment of pause to promote awareness about a cause close to the heart of our guests. This gives you out there watching an opportunity to right now really hit that share button and have even bigger meaning, bigger and more important than Jessica Koch or Ellia. Share this podcast so that we can get some cause awareness out there for this cause that she's going to share. And more importantly, put the cause that's close to your heart in the comments so that when you do hit the share button, so much more of the world will see the cause you care about. And you just might inspire someone today to give time, treasure, or talent to that cause. And wouldn't that be great if that was the biggest thing that came out of our podcast today, that one person was inspired to do something amazing? I would call this a very successful show. Ellia, share with us the cause that you care about.
My cause is international development, especially supporting women. And the reason this is my cause is that was the first cause that I worked for in the nonprofit sector. I was working for Oxfam. And I learned so much about the way developing countries are having to get by, and within countries, communities, and within communities, it's often the women who bear the brunt of generating income, looking after families, keeping communities connected. So that's my cause.
I love that. And there's so many great organizations, if you search them, that support women in business with microloans throughout the country so that they can start their own business, or even those programs that, purchase a chicken or a goat for a family to allow them to begin selling eggs or goat cheese or goat milk, or really become a revenue stream for them. There's just so many ways to support people from all over the world and help them develop their business. You can get involved in SCORE. SCORE is if you're a successful business owner, you could be a mentor to someone else who's starting their business, and so there's just so many ways to support each other as we transition to leaders and business owners throughout the world. So that's a great cause. Thank you for sharing it. And now, how about a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business? Because we are building the ultimate book list. I am nuts about books, as all of you out there are watching. And if you have a favorite book, you know what to do. Stick it in the comments, hit the share button, especially if you're an author, because you want to get the word out there about your amazing book. Tell us all about it in the comments and where we can find it. So, Ellia, how about you? A book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business?
Actually, this one inspired both. It's called Essentialism
Mm,
by Greg McKeown. That's Mckeown. And it's about how to bring everything down to the essential element so that you can make more space in your life or in your business or in your work to do the things that are really relevant, that are really important. It makes it much easier to say no. If you're one of those people that always says yes,
mhm,
this is a good training for how to say no and why you must say no sometimes.
mhm. And that is a lesson we all need to learn. So, how about you? Are you an author to a book? I think you're a part of a book. Tell us a little bit about what's your world
Yeah.
in the book world.
So I contributed to a book called Winner's Mindset.
Mhm,
And the theme was how to have the mindset of a winner. And
mm.
it's a great book because it covers sports, it covers business, it covers personal lives, and it's about no matter what area you work in, how to improve your mindset so that you are more of a winner.
I love that. I love that book. And I totally will make sure that we're including this in her custom article and that we'll have it in the descriptions because, we need inspiration. We're just that energy to keep propelling forward. We need that why that draws us out of bed. We need that, motivational music like they played in Rocky. We need that, you know,
Yeah.
that we are the champions. We need that energy and that spirit, and books like that bring that. And I have to tell you, I read a book recently, and the concept isn't about winning or the mindset of overcoming, but he gives you the action plan on, I mean, on how to win. And he is so inspiring, and his story is so inspiring. I stumbled across it. I'm so lucky and blessed as a mom. I have a 13-year-old, and for her 13th birthday, her big request was to go to a big bookstore. We live in a rural area, and to get to the mall or a big mega bookstore is quite a drive away. And so that was her big request. And when I was there, I stumbled across it, and it jumped out at me because it's written by a CEO of a company that I use. It's a software. It's AppSumo is the CEO. He's the CEO of AppSumo, and AppSumo is a software company that helps bundle savings for small business owners, software they need to use to help grow their business. But it allows you to buy it either with one lifetime price versus monthly, or a really reduced price that you're grandfathered into, or just better deal for quality software. And his book is called Million Dollar Weekend. I don't know if I have it next to me. Oh, I do have it next to me. Um, of course, that jumped out at me because, who doesn't want $1 million weekend? But it's called $1 Million Weekend. But really, he takes you through, and it just reminded me so much of my grassroots training of sailing, of sales. And, when you have determination to reach a goal, the grassroots basic things you can do that anyone can do with no technology, no experience, no massive team, no anyone can achieve this. So your collaborative book made me think of his book. I don't even usually suggest one when I'm on our show, but I got excited. But it's a fantastic read. I am reading it for the second time already. I'm going back through, and I'm just excited. Sometimes it's just about remembering what you knew, and making
Yes.
sure that it's being applied to your life now, right? Just because
Yeah.
you learn something or you know something to be true doesn't mean you're doing it right now. Like, I know how to do
Yeah.
crunches, and did I do some today? Not yet.
And sometimes it's also about getting permission to do something in a different way. So that's one of the reasons that the chapter that I contributed to Winner's Mindset was called How to Be a Maverick, because I think that we also need to feel confident about taking some risks in our lives. And, like my life motto has been no fear, but
Mm.
a lot of people don't operate that way. So I wanted to give people permission to be a
Yeah.
maverick.
Yes. I totally highly, you'll love this book. I mean, it's, that's, he speaks your language. He gives courage challenges for help people overcome fear and things like simple things like call someone who you know in business, who you know wants you to succeed in business, and ask them to send you $1. Send you $1 right now. Just ask for $1. It's going to go towards growing your business. You're putting it towards your marketing funds, whatever the reason is. Because it's in this book and you have this challenge that you have to do, and so you can say that you did it, do it, because it helps you overcome something in your mind, right? I was just
Yeah.
on with someone before our podcast who has written this amazing course. She's taught it in kind of a coursing format and been paid that way, but never just sold the online course. It's never just like clicked and buy it and money have showed up in her, inbox while she slept. That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So, when I was talking to her about goals of 20 courses a month, she couldn't even wrap her head around 20 courses being sold in a month because she hasn't sold one yet. So sometimes you need to go ask for that $1, ask for something, buy my course, put money in my account, buy my course, so that your brain can believe that it will happen.
Yes.
And so that the fear can be overcome, so that then suddenly, oh, if I could do one, then of course I could do 20.
Yeah.
Especially if I had a strategic plan and strategic collaboration partners and all the things that you need to achieve those kinds of goals. So I really appreciate what you're sharing and what you're saying. It's been so nice to have you on the show. I hope that you've enjoyed being here with me, because
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
think
Thank
this
you.
is such valuable information that you're sharing with the world. We do need to think differently. And I'll tell you the one thing that I've learned, I knew it probably a long time ago, but I've really learned and implemented in my life probably the last 3 years, is getting rid of or, and trying to think more creatively about how to incorporate and. So this is working, and this also could work, and this can work, and how could this also work, right? Instead of saying, well, this isn't working, so let's do this, or this only worked a little bit, so let's stop doing that and do this. I'm really trying to think about, how can it be this and that.
Yes.
And I think that that's what people are learning, especially in the online course world. They're learning that it needs to be, uh, this and that, not this or that, right? You need that personal community touch, but you also need that creative ways that they can just do it on their own, right? Whenever is convenient for them. And that's what the online course does for you. It really does give you, um, that ability. So,
And what you just demonstrated actually is another creative thinking technique. It's called yes and it
mm,
actually comes from the world of improv comedy.
mhm,
So you've just demonstrated a really useful creative thinking technique, and teams can do this as well.
mhm,
Instead of saying, no, that can't happen, turn it around and say, yes, and you're
mhm,
just constantly building on what other people are saying, yes, and then we'll do this, yes, and then we'll do that.
mhm.
And it's another way of getting to a different solution.
Well, I love that. So, this has been a great show, and I hope you guys are all inspired to think differently and have your light bulbs come on and do some creative thinking and brainstorming and thinking this and that. But if you're also thinking, hey, maybe I am an industry expert and I have something of value to teach and I can help improve someone's personal life or grow their business, well, come on, because we'd love to have you on the show. And before we let Ellia go, we are going to ask for a final piece of information or inspiration.
So I'm going to combine two. The inspiration is fun. Fun is a really important part of brainstorming. So I invite everybody to build some fun into their day. Laugh at something. Laugh is a
Mhm.
great stress releaser anyway. And yes, and I
Mhm.
also have an ebook that I would like to share with you if you want to
Mm.
delve more into brainstorming with your team. It's called the Brainstorming Playbook, and it incorporates some of these fun exercises that you can do. The way to get that is to go to the website, which is thepotentialcenter.com. And after a few seconds, there will be a pop up that allows you to sign up for your copy of the brainstorming playbook. And you'll get some useful tips through our newsletter as well.
I love that. So, this has been wonderful. And thank you out there for sharing and all your kindness. And until our next show, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This is Profound Professionals. And be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.